We want to be the same, we want to be paid the same, we want to, have just the same rights.
Is feminism actually searching for equality or for supremacy?
Yes, the fight for feminism has become way too overemphasized.
When you start hearing something too much, that's only when you're beginning to listen.
This is the most interesting show to make landfall on television, with the three most interesting men who are capable of holding on to it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Men's Corner.
We're talking feminism today, and it's become a hot topic in the last couple of years because a lot of people have become very familiar with the term and advocating for it. And in Nigeria, it's also gotten on the rise recently. Social media continues to blow up every day with regards to what feminism is and should be. We're going to try and talk about it today. I don't know that we know a lot about feminism,
the fringes.
but I know for sure that men can be feminists. So we'll find out what men should do with feminism and about feminism. What is feminism?
Female advocacy, equality. There's so much going on these days. It's hard to keep tabs, but mostly the fight for equality when it comes to being woman or female. I think that's it.
I go through that.
You think?
No, I think you find out when you get home.
Exactly.
That's how you find out. Feminism is the movement for the recognition of the equal status of the female gender in society. I think it's a movement that seeks to empower women, or at least elevate women to the same level as their male counterparts. It's a movement that's largely multifaceted and consequently, to the best of my understanding, a little misunderstood. But yeah, that's what it is. By quite a lot by men, for starters.
And some women.
Yeah.
And some women. Oh, yeah. And a lot of women.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're both very right, but I don't think it's complicated at all. I think what feminism is actually very simple, and what it wants to achieve is also very simple and clear. I think what complicates it is the way people advocate for it, maybe, and the way people choose to understand it. But it's very simple and clear. It's simply the advocacy for equality between sexes, where we are both human.
Want to bring it home? Do you think there's a difference between how it's advocated for here in Nigeria, especially, and how
I don't know
in
that
other places?
I don't know how it's advocated for here. I don't even know that feminism is huge in Nigeria yet.
Oh, it is.
Forget social media. Social media is less than 1% of Nigeria's population.
True.
So don't think.
Let me tell you.
Let me finish. Don't think that the circles you roll in is Nigeria. Social media, whatever job you're at, is less than 1% of Nigeria. So feminism is not a big issue here yet.
I assure you.
There are people who advocate for it seriously.
I assure you something.
But it's not a majority yet.
After this episode airs on Saturday, probably on some daily, somebody's going to write something about this. And the person is going to say how we struggled through this topic, not wanting to
the
blah,
truth
blah,
is,
blah, blah, blah.
I actually
guaranteed that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I think I understand what feminism is. And I think I agree with feminism. And I think there's nothing wrong with feminism. What confuses me, like I said at the beginning, and most people, is how it's advocated. There was something that Chimamanda said recently, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who I think is unbelievable and extremely talented. And I mean, it's an icon for a lot of people. But she said something recently that a lot of people were like, so what's that? She said something along the lines of, my feminism and Beyonce's feminism are not the same, or something like that. So you don't wonder, why are there different kinds of feminisms?
Because there are different kinds of churches. See, this is the thing. No, seriously, this is the thing. There's a great deal of difference between a faith-based belief and a fact-based belief, right? Necessarily, faith requires you to give an emotional investment to conceptualize something as being real, right? Facts simply present you with evidence of the reality of that, and you either accept it and move on, or you don't. So I think that there's a great difference between a Beyonce's belief system, which is most likely fact-based because it's backed up by a lot of policy and legalization of the issues that are being discussed in a country like America, for instance, and a Chimamanda's belief system, which has to be faith-based, because the policy and the laws of Nigeria, let's not kid ourselves, do not necessarily take women into equal status as men.
You know what I
So
find
I
funny?
agree with her.
And because I'm Igbo, which is from the eastern part of Nigeria, for those who are not Nigerian, and traditionally in my part of the world, before religion came, women were probably even stronger than men.
Yeah, I agree.
Igbo women are very enterprising. It's
Yeah.
never been a
Yep.
discussion that was had.
Yep.
So and I think it's one of the things Chimamanda says a lot. Like, I have a grandmother who I grew up to now realize that she was a feminist without her having to say it, because she just never really thought, oh, this man is greater than me. I just went out and did my thing. You know what I mean? So I want to talk about the fight in Nigeria amongst those who sort of are feminists.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find that it's reduced to
Male bashing?
who is pounding yam in the house, who should,
right, yeah.
you know, like,
I think the
it
question
should it be that mundane? But let's
What
take a
is-
break.
Yeah,
Let-
I was just going to say, what drives the...
What should
the-
drive
the-
it?
What drives and what should drive the Nigerian argument on feminism?
Well, let's find out what the men think. I am going to sip as well too. Whatever it is they have to say.
Yeah,
Because these guys always get in trouble. And I feel like they're going to get in trouble today. Finally.
We appreciate you, Cannon Fodder.
Please
We
put,
appreciate you.
put their Twitter handles up so that they can Twitter them and not us.
Not mine.
Let's hear
today,
from them.
please.
Feminism, according to Chimamanda, is the belief in the equality of both sexes. I think I'm summarizing, but yeah, that's what I think.
Some people have sort of misconstrued what feminism is and have taken it a little too far. But I think on the general scope of things, feminism is still a fight for equality.
From a guy's point of view, I think it's just women trying so desperately to have something to say. Women trying so desperately to have this equal ground with men, which will never happen.
There are things that people just always take a step too far. It doesn't take away from what the word actually represents or what the idea represents. Some people will just do the most, but feminism is still what it is, and there are still people who are fighting for that equality in many countries. So I think we shouldn't take it away from them. Feminism is still the fight for equality.
Is feminism actually searching for equality or for supremacy? It starts first of all now, it starts to look like equality first. What a man can do, a woman can do better. That's the supremacy part of it.
For it to be a fight for supremacy, then it means that they were equal, that the sexes were equal, which they never were, to be honest. I mean, for generations and generations, in the Bible, in the Quran, everywhere, men have always been the dominant characters. So you can't say that, oh, women want to come and take over and suppress. They're not taking over, it just must be equal. So I think it's a fight for equality.
I've met men who tell me still that they wouldn't allow their wives to work. They wouldn't allow their wives to do certain things. They wouldn't allow, assuming that the woman has become their slave, so they are the ones to decide what the woman is supposed to do.
We still have situations where in some countries women can't drive. Women can't get a job without the permission of their husband.
In that idea, feminism kind of is telling them that, you know what, I should be able to work as well. Even though I have children, even though I'm breastfeeding, even though I'm cooking, even though I'm doing all of these things, I should have the right to do just as much as you are doing.
Later now, they'll say, you know what, because women are better managers, let us have more women in the government because we can do things. And then we have emotions, you know, we are emotional, we can see to the plight of the people. So it starts from gradual little things like, you know, being equal with the man to actually wanting to take over from the man. So don't worry, they're getting there. Well done, ma.
Good luck, guys. You just
May
need
the
to
force
talk,
be
you just
with
need to talk.
The police force.
So before the break, you're talking about what should be the
I was asking, actually, what drives the Nigerian argument on feminism?
I think everything should drive the Nigerian argument because Nigeria is the one society where patriarchy is still a big deal. I mean, up until recently when I can't remember the lady who it was that went to court in Port Harcourt. If you're married as a woman, you can't get an international passport without your husband's consent.
Yeah.
Something as basic as
As basic as that, yeah.
We have a lot of tribes where women don't inherit property from their father just because they are women. I mean, so in a society like this, yes.
Or
it should
even
be.
from their husbands.
And these are even just basic things.
Yeah, even from their husbands.
Yeah, these are
that's
just
right.
like really basic things. So in Nigeria, it's harder here to fight because culture is a big deal here. Religion, for the most part, is a big deal. I mean, you have religions where the woman is basically married and she stays indoors. She has no say. She can't contribute financially. She can't contribute opinions. The man is the be-all and end-all of the house.
He is a deity, essentially.
And it's going to be that way to tomorrow. I mean, there's a women's rights or something. I can't remember the law that was sent to the National Assembly, and people of that particular religion were like, I'm sorry, we're not going to support this bill because it's going to make women grow wings, quote unquote.
Oh yeah, this was a few years ago, right?
So
I remember that.
It's a bigger deal here. It should be fought for here, and feminism should be a big deal here. And I agree with you, Amanda. I mean, she's like the poster girl for feminism. I've called her name like 4 times here. But yeah, I agree with her.
Ironically, lots of Nigerian feminists, female feminists, don't really agree with her.
Interestingly, yeah.
Interestingly, I mean, I've heard that a great deal.
I heard one of the arguments I see a lot with her is, if you're a feminist, why are you married? Why is that? Should that be a thing?
I don't think.
Is that a misunderstanding of what feminism should be?
It's like saying if
what was that group of people?
If you're righteous, why are you married? Does that change?
No.
Does that change anything?
What was that group of people who thought it was foul for the president's wife to have made the notions that she made a couple of months ago, if you guys remember.
Nigerian president?
The
First Lady?
The First Lady. I can't remember what group it was, but it was, to me, that felt like a regression. I don't know if you know
basically told her she shouldn't have spoken up against her husband.
Exactly, that she shouldn't have publicly put up against her husband.
Why?
Like I said, it felt like a regression, and it makes you feel like that there's a great proportion of Nigerian women who are still that way, who still want things to be the way it was culturally from back in the days.
Oh, I don't feel like it is. I know that it is. I mean, all you've got to do is go out and have a conversation in the public space. The biggest divide in the feminist argument is not necessarily male versus female, which is why when you find feminists whose main target for aggression is a male, it usually just makes me laugh. It's actually female versus female. Because the institutionalization of the thought processes that feminism is set to fight are inside the females. If women changed their perspective, men, because let's face it, most men cannot really exist for X number of years without female company or without female opinions. They will be forced to change their outlook as well. But most women think that because this system has been passed down to them, there is a reason why it should be taken forward. And this is where my argument with tradition always comes up. We accept a lot of things traditionally, not because we've invested any sort of time to actually find out if they work or not.
You see, now you're talking, okay, you're the worst person to ask this question, but
yeah.
So hang on a second, but it's gonna be okay. Now we're talking about tradition. What about religion? Most religions also
again,
say,
worst person to talk about that way.
I know, but most religions now say, hey, he is your head, and whatever he said, be submissive. Is there no
with due respect
to that?
90% of the world's let's not say 90% of the world's religions, but a substantial number of the followers of the world's religions only amount to a percentage of the global population that follow ancient desert culture.
Desert.
Yeah, desert culture, literally, because most of these ideas were formed by nomads who had to move from place to place, which is why it reflects in certain laws that were written down in the holy books. Now, I think that if you can review religious text and say, oh, this must have meant this, not literally kill this person, or not literally stone this person to death, or not literally if you eat shellfish, you're going to die and go to hell. Then we should also review the way that most of our holy books portray women. I think it's common sense. Here's a counter argument, right? Most people who are strongly religious will go to a hospital when they fall ill, right? If you believe that your holy texts are that accurate, why don't you just sit there and pray it away?
Different show.
Can I ask a question before we go on and find out what the women have to say?
Okay.
And you must give me an answer.
Bring Andre, you hear him now, yeah?
You must give me an answer.
Bring it.
And I need an answer immediately. Who should pound the yam, the man or the woman?
I have more muscles. I should.
There's a certain beautiful taste when they do it.
So the woman should pound the yam.
Okay,
I did not say who should do. I did not say who should. I think it tastes better, beautiful, it's delicious, much more delicious.
This is not me reducing feminism to pounding yam. I just wanted to find out their opinion.
His handle on Twitter is @Ebuka.
Let's find out from the women what they think about the feminism advocacy thing these days, and we'll come back to talk more.
Feminism is basically equality. Female and male equality.
Feminism is something simple. Women believing that they have the right to their own opinions, to choose the kind of life they deserve to live. not being told what to do or how to do it just because you're a woman.
It's a fight for equality. Nobody is saying that we want to be better, we want to be treated better, we want to be the superior, is it gender? We want to be the same, we want to be paid the same, we want to, have just the same rights.
There are still women out there that are fighting for equality, especially in the place of work, in their lifestyles, sexuality and whatnot. There's still that fight there. But then there's some women that take it to another level. And they just don't even want to be men at this point. They want to be God or something, I don't know. They take it a little too far.
Because now it's kind of equated with, because I'm fighting to be equal, now it's sort of like I'm quarreling with all the men. It's gone a bit too far with the hating men, but it doesn't have to be like that. It's just, let's try and all get on. That's what it should be.
It's like you're fighting for, women need, better rights and whatnot, and then someone is coming from nowhere and saying, no, women need to be better than men. We're like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying we need to be on the same level.
Feminism is a fight for equality. Anyone that's fighting for supremacy does not know what feminism is.
Some babes need to calm down, especially on Twitter. You need to relax. It's not a war zone, it's just a social media stuff.
The real feminists are just fighting for the right to be equal to men. They just want the same benefits, same treatment at work, same treatment in their sex life. That's very important. And same treatment when making money. That's also very important.
Hello, ladies. Thank you for your opinions. I have nothing else to say. Do's and don'ts with regards to feminism, how you react to it, how you act to it.
It's a culture curve. We're still learning about it. It might be shocking to most people who are absolutely African. Most people were brought up the African way and everything. But the world is evolving, and we have no choice but to evolve with it. So I'd say be more accepting. You just have to. You have no choice. Be more accepting to it. Women want to be equal these days because they're doing pretty much everything that we're doing as men.
Yep.
So, hey, as much as you accept everything else socially, this might be one of them.
I think more important than anything else is to let's not do the same thing with feminism that we've done with religion. So with religion, we've turned religious leaders into the mouthpiece of the religion itself, right? So a religious leader gets away with just about anything as long as he says that that's quote-unquote gospel, okay? Certain people may be advocates of feminism, staunch advocates, even violent to some degree, but they're not necessarily mouthpieces for what feminism stands for. That's their brand of feminism, which is why I agree with a Chimamanda versus a Beyonce. It's based on your interpretation. There isn't a manual that says, oh, a feminist must do X, Y, Z.
But there is a manual. It just says equality. Why are there different types of equality?
Because there are different places in the world. And
so equality in America is different from equality here?
Of course it's different.
How so?
Dude, here, let's not kid ourselves. Children who are underage are still being married off because of religious law, right? That's not going to happen in the continental United States. Your door is going to get kicked down and the FBI is going to raid your house.
How come Beyonce could relate to Chimamanda's TED Talk?
Because Beyonce was relating to it as, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and imagine that I understand what she thinks. That makes me Jay-Z. No. Anyway, it's your boy. Anyway, I think Beyonce was relating to that as a global citizen. But being a global citizen is very different from being an everyday Nigerian. Yes, you're part of the globe. Yes, you're part of the entire world. But you have Nigerian issues. So Chimamanda's brand of feminism is Chimamanda's brand of feminism, which focuses on the problems that the average Nigerian woman faces, not the average American woman, which I think you'll admit are two different things.
You gotta admit, he's got something there. That's.
I don't understand. Did I say I disagree?
I said I like his definition.
So you got to admit. Did you see me fight?
Sorry.
I grew up in a home with a mom who worked hard. The first child in my family was a lady, was a girl, and she's done amazing things for herself as well. So I grew up probably being a feminist without even knowing it, without necessarily being a fan of the word, quote unquote. I've never known that women should be any less.
Same here.
I've never thought that women shouldn't achieve things or aspire to things. You know, part of Chimamanda's TED Talk was that something along the lines that what they tell girls is you should have ambition, but not too much. And I see that happen, where they say, oh, you shouldn't
Yeah.
Don't threaten the man.
Yeah, don't threaten the man.
Sort of thing. But I've never really known that to be my reality. So for me, it's only normal that we are equal. And equality is relative, I guess, to whoever it is. Because eventually my mother said the same thing. I think she wrote a letter some time ago to a girl child on how to grow up and be a feminist and all of that. And it went viral then.
Yeah, it did.
You know, and one of the things she said is, what should be important to you is what should matter, you know? I mean, they can't say, oh, because you're feminist, you shouldn't get married or have children. The fact that I'm feminist doesn't mean I don't need a man. Some people might think I don't need a man. That's fine for them. But she's married, she has a daughter, she loves her husband, and that's fine. So, in conclusion, we should all be feminists, to be very honest. And I'm not saying this to pander to anybody. I think we should all be feminists. I think it's important that we start to view everybody as human, as against drawing the lines and trying to segregate and discriminate based on that. Yep. Thanks, guys, for being here today. This was quite deep.
It was.
I don't know how much trouble we got into.
I congratulate you. We made it
But
through.
hopefully we didn't get into too much trouble.
I am going through Brazil.
But thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Don't tell everyone that her place is solely in the kitchen. You have no right to say that to any woman. She can be whatever she chooses to be.
Keep fighting for feminism, keep fighting for your rights and everything, but don't be irritating about it.
See, if it's affecting you right now, as a brother to a brother, I'm advising you, don't let it touch you, all right? Do what you're supposed to do as a man, all right? And all that feminism talk, it will affect you. Nah.
As a feminist, stop man-hating, especially if you are heterosexual. What do you think is going to keep you warm at night if every time, oh my God, I hate men, I hate men? I'm sorry, I don't hate men. I'm a proud feminist, and I love me some black men.
Men, do not fight against feminism. It's for your own good at the end of the day. I don't think there's anything wrong with the woman you're with believing in herself as much as you believe in yourself. Deal with it.